Good morning, guys, and welcome back to the channel. And I hope that during this pandemic time, you all must be keeping well and be safe. This is what we all can request, pray, and do. Right? All right. So, anyway, come back to our today's topic. Our today's topic of discussion is about communication. Right? Communication is also one of the important topic from all our B.Ed examination point of view, from our KVS examination, your RIT examination, even your uh, in school residential examination. So this is an important topic, and we are going to discuss in today's video what topic we will cover about. We will cover the first thing. We will cover about what is communication. We will discuss about definitions by the various scholars given about communication. We will also discuss about the communication process, types of communication, communication and languages. Okay, so these topics will be the covered under this today's video. Alright guys, so we go ahead with now today's video. Okay, the first thing is about the definition, terms. Okay, term and the definition of communication, what the communication is. So your first word is used etymologically. When we say etymologically, it means we are talking about the origin, okay, of the word, that from which language, from where the word is derived from. So we say that the word, this communication word is derived, okay, it comes from the Latin word which means communic. Okay, you can see over here. Okay, what does it mean? It means communic. All right, now meaning common. Okay, communic means, and what is the meaning of this word? Communic means common. Okay, if I show you with this here, it means common. This is what the communication actually means. Okay, now when we communicate, we try to establish what we do. We try to find some commonness. Okay, like for example, like supposing no matter which part of India do you belong to. Maybe for example, you are from Maharashtra. Okay, and you are Marathi. So when you go to the another part of India and you will find someone communicating in Marathi with you, so you feel close to it. Why? Because there is some commonness in you. Okay, so this is what the communication is. Okay, so let's see further what is it. And this is, we try to share the information, an idea or an attitude. Okay, when we communicate, it means what we are doing, we are sharing the information, we are sharing an idea, we are sharing our attitude. Okay, now to communicate is defined as to impart, to bestow, and to convey, to make known and give by the way of information. Okay. Now, if you will look from the different dictionaries point of view, if you look from the new Webster's dictionary, so how it defines, it says the communication is the act or the fact of communicating transmission, the imparting or interchange of thoughts. Okay, it is what we are doing. We are interchanging our thoughts, opinion, informations by speeches, writing, or signs, that which is communicated or imparted. A document or a message imparting views or information. Okay, this is the definition which is you will find in the new Webster's dictionary. Okay, now if you will talk, okay, from another definition. Okay, so another definition of communication is given by our Oxford dictionary, and what it says, according to the Oxford dictionary, the communication means imparting, conveying or exchanging of the ideas, knowledge, etc. by the means of speech. Okay, writing or any attempt to define the communication has to take into the consideration the idea of mutually and commonness, an exchange, a shared environment, a social relationship among the participants, and the existence of common need. Okay, urge, aim or goal. So communication is said to take place when an area of common experiences exist. Okay, so what is important? When the proper communication takes place, when there is something common. Like for an example, if our communication is going on over here, right, I am communicating something to you. So now what is our commonness here? Okay, our commonness is to clear the exam, whichever is that, right? The study is something which is commonness for us. Okay, now here it is given one diagram is there which indicates the common area of experiences. Okay, the overlap in the diagram. Okay, this is the common area, right? As you can see this part, this is the common area where we shared. Okay, there are many definitions of communication has been given, but the most common definition which is accepted all over is The communication is the social process. What the communication is? Communication is social process of interaction through messages. Okay, this is the most common definition of communication. Okay guys, now we will see the various definitions given by the various scholars and researchers. So for this, first we have the Charles Morris. He gives the two definition of communications. Okay, he says that one broader than the other. Broadly, according to him, what the Charles Morris says, the communication is the establishment of commonness. Okay, in the limited sense, it means the use of signs to establish the commonness of significance. Okay, and if you look at George Lundberg's definition, so he says the use of communication to designate interaction by the signs and symbols. So this is an interaction by signs and symbols according to George. Now Baker Brownell, okay, and what he says, he uses the term direct and indirect to define this. Okay, according to him, they use the term direct and indirect communication. The direct communication is a function of identification of the people with another. Okay, and indirect communication is the process wherein the something converted into the symbols is carried over from one person to another. Okay, so this is the definition being given by Baker. All right. And next we have Theodore Newcomb. He defines the communication as the process by which the people influences each other or leave impression on others. Okay guys, now here right in the front of you, you have a figure which is reflecting what the communication is. This is a model has been given. Okay, and we will see this. Alright, I will discuss on it. So what is the next topic is what the communication process is. This model is all about your communication process. So Aristotle, one of the earliest to speak of the model of communication, identified these three elements. Okay, he calls that the speaker, speech and audience. These are key elements of any communication process according to Aristotle. Now further, a more widely accepted model of communication, okay, and this model of communication is given by your Harold. Okay, Harold has given this. Harold Loswell. Okay, and David Berlow. Okay, so according to their communication requires at least the four elements, and according to them, okay, that is Harold and David, there are four key elements. Okay, and now what are these four elements? These are your sources, message, channel, and receiver. Okay, in short, in order to learn, you can use this acronym that is called SMCR. Okay, all right. So that is the S stand for source, M for message, C for channel, and R for receiver. So you can see this is the model of your communication right in the front of you. You have the source, you have the message, you have the channel, you have the receiver. All right. So now we will discuss this elements one by one. Okay, the first important element in communication we have is our sender. Okay, who is the source from where? Okay, the sender is also known as called your source. Okay, from where the information arises. So the sender or the source may be an individual. It could be an individual, a person also. Okay, speaking, writing, drawing, or gesturing. Okay, or a communication organization. It could be a communication organization also, like for an example, the newspaper, publishing houses, television station, or the motion picture studios. Okay, the sender may be used oral, written, or graphic signs or symbols to convey the messages. Okay, the communication skills, attitudes, and convictions, the knowledge of the content, objectives, the socio-cultural milieu, etc. of the senders have an impact on the effectiveness of communication. Okay, so what we have learned, a sender or a source can be an individual also. It can be different organization like your newspaper organization or any of a public publication house. It can be your social media, I mean the sense of television, etc. All right. So this is what the sender is. Okay, the next key element of communication is our message. Okay, this is the second one, that what a message is. So messages are made of the signs or symbols. All right, they are made up of signs or symbols and codes that are signals. What they are? They are signals. Okay, which represent something. Okay, message may be in the form of ink or paper. It can be in the form of a sound waves or it in the air. Alright, as you might have noticed, you must have learnt about the early men, that how they used to give signals to each other in the olden days, okay, with the help of the smoke, with the help of the sound waves. So this is what, even the birds they chirp, right? So this is, they are giving signal, they are giving message. all right, with the help of sound waves. Okay, so impulses in electric current, a wave of hand, a flag in the air, or any other signal, okay, capable of being interpreted meaningfully. Okay, so messages are encoded, and those who receive them must decode. Decode here means those who receive, they must understood it. All right, the messages are encoded means they are produced, and the receiver should be able to understand it. Okay, they should be able to decode them to interrupt or understand the meaning of the message. And now on this, one of our scholar, Wilbur, okay, what Wilbur says, according to Wilbur, a message should fulfill the following conditions. And what these conditions are, according to him, the first condition is the message must be designed and delivered as to gain the attention of the intended audience. Okay, so it could gain the attention of the intended audience. This is the first thing. The second important thing he says, Wilbur says, that the message must employ signs that refer to the experiences common to the source and the receivers, all right, so as to get the meaning across. Third thing he says, the message must arouse the needs in the receiver and suggest some ways to meet these needs. And the fourth thing which Wilbur says, that the message must suggest a way to meet these needs which is appropriate to the context in which the receiver finds himself or herself at the time when he or she is moved to make the desired response. Okay guys, the third point is the channel. Okay, now channel is what? Channel is a kind of a source through which the information reach. Alright, so this is the third key element here in our process of communication. So let's see what the channel, how it has been defined over here. It says, as you can see the definition here in the blue color, the channel refers to the means employed to transmit or receive the messages. Okay, it transmit or receives messages. It refers to the five senses, okay, which include your seeing, touch, hearing, smell and taste. Means these senses are the part of the channel through which you receive the information. A message is received through any of the above modes of sensory perceptions. Okay, and what are these sensory perception? One by one we will see over here. It says a message may be seen through seen, okay, with the help of your eyes, right, through the print or the visual media. You can see a message, right? If, for example, if somebody, as you are going to the market and there is a big hoarding which is, or a poster which is claiming about the curfew norms, right, or maybe something about the lockdown, so this is a message which you are getting, which you are seeing through your eyes. Okay, the next, it can be heard, okay, through the sound media or the voice. Okay, like for example, if you have heard any news, right, about the lockdown or any another event, so that is a message you have received. Okay, it can be through a audio, it can be a speech, it can be a musical instrument, etc. The third, it says it can be seen or heard as in the case of the films, television or other audio visual media. Okay, so when you watch a for example a film also, so it gives you certain kind of message, right? The next, it can be touched, smelt or tasted through models, exhibited, specimens and experiment. Okay, so message can be even touched, smelt or tasted. See, this is a new thing, right, through the models. If a model is there, right, so a model is also giving you information, right? For an example, like you are going to buy a new house which is located in a colony and you see the model of that colony, so you touch that model, you feel that, you get an idea, you get an information about it. All right, it can be exhibit, specimens and experiment, all are the part of your channel only. Okay, it says further, the channel also included all your mechanical devices. No message can be transmitted, okay, unless they are encoded. When we communicate through language or speech, we encode the message into the written or spoken words. We use signs and symbols to communicate. The deaf and mute are taught to follow the sign language. In order to communicate message to a distance, we use sound waves. Okay. In order to make them last, we use writing. In order to complete the act of communication of a message must be decoded. Alright guys. Okay, our fourth key element of communication is our receiver. Okay, receiver, we are the receiver, right? Like for example, if I am the source, so right now you are the receiver of the information, right? So the receiver is also called a destination. Alright, when your message reaches to the receiver, it means it's reached to the destination. Okay, so it may be an individual or a group or a crowd or a mob, right? For an example, if a teacher is teaching in a classroom, so the students are the receiver, and that is a group, okay, which is receiving. All right. Like for example, if any political leader is giving a speech, so the message is received by the crowd. All right. If mob word is like a violent crowd, it is actually used for, right? So for example, if a police is making some announcement on the street, okay, for the mob, so they are the receiver over there, okay. So they're reading, listening, watching, okay. This all are the forms of receiving actually. So the receiver is the object in the communication process. All right. The sender must constantly keep the needs, aspirations, knowledge, socio-cultural milieu, and the background of the receiver if the message is to have the desired objective. Now here you can see the following chart illustrate the human communication process. Okay, so now here you can see this S stand for your source. Okay, and Wilbur believed this field of experience is very important. Okay, the field of experience is important for communication. Okay, like for an example, if an experienced teacher is teaching to you, so automatically the learning will take faster. All right. And supposingly, if tomorrow, if anyone you want to get up and just want to enter into the politics, so it may not be possible because you are lacking the field of experiences. Okay, so your message when you will go first time to deliver your political speech, so you may not be successful over there, right? So this is the source. Your field of experience is very important for any message. Okay, and then with the help of this, it reaches to the decoder, or we call it R standard for the receiver. So start from the source, and these are the sources channels, okay, and the message goes to a receiver to its final destination. Okay guys, our next topic is about types of communication. There are different kinds of communications are there. So in the first we have intrapersonal communication. Okay, see the word here, this is called INTRA, intrapersonal communication. Okay, so when a communication takes place within oneself, okay, it is called intrapersonal communication. It includes the individual's reflection, meditation. Okay, when you are doing meditation, it means you are talking to yourself. So intrapersonal is when you talk to yourself, you try to do the self-analysis of yourself. Okay, so here example is given like meditation and contemplation. Okay, the intrapersonal communication includes the prayers. Okay, what it include the prayers addressed to the divine through some authors describes the communication with the divine as a transpersonal communication. It has been also defined as a transpersonal communication when you are doing a prayer or meditation, because in that you are talking to yourself. So intrapersonal is something when you talk to yourself, when a person is talking to oneself. All right, and next we have interpersonal. Now see, this word is different from the first one. This first one is intra and second is interpersonal. All right, now in what sense it is different? Okay, so from it we will see that. Okay, so when we talk about interpersonal communication, so it says interpersonal communication takes place between two persons. Okay, but here is oneself, and here is two person. Okay, so this include a dialogue, conversation, or exchange of the views between two person. Okay, exchange of views between two persons without using any technological devices. Okay, in this we are not using any technological devices like telephone, internet, mobile, etc., but it is face to face talk. It is a direct, okay, intimate, means close, and consists of the verbal interaction or the gestures. All right, the efficiency of the interpersonal communication depends very much on the mutual relationship between the two person. Okay, means how much successful the communication will be, right? Interpersonal, it depends on the relationship of two person. Okay, their status, roles, and skills. Okay, our third type of communication is about group communication. All right, so what this group communication is, that we will see now. This group communication. So group communication takes place among the group of person, a group of person. It shares most of the qualities of the above types of communication. Okay, means all the qualities are there, right? What we have read about intrapersonal and interpersonal. Okay, above types of communication, though in much reduced way. The number of receivers here increases in a group communication. Okay, the number of receivers are more, but participation, intimacy, etc., can become lesser and lesser as the group becomes larger and larger. Okay, automatically when the more number of people are there, so you may get less chance to speak. Okay, just imagine that when you are going and talking, for an example, you go and visit now tomorrow a school principal. So just supposedly you are only talking to the person. So there is a kind of interpersonal communication between you and the principal. But if you are supposedly going to a large gathering, you may be out to see the rally of Prime Minister Narendra Modi. So there it is a big rally. There you may not get a chance to speak even. So the larger the group is, less the participation becomes. Okay, our fourth type of communication is mass communication. When the audience is large, heterogeneous, and widely dispersed, okay, the communication is called a mass communication. Scientific and technological advances have made it possible to make communication reach vast within a short time. So now these days, what is happening on the social media? Like somebody has posted a post on the FB and it becomes popular, right? Any kind of poster, and that has become popular overnight. So this is what? This is an example of mass communication. A large audience has been covered all over the globe. Okay, and these days this has become very mass communication has become very common. Like newspapers are also one of the example of it. Like any news has been given in the newspaper and that's spread like very next day. So that is an example of mass communication. Okay, this is the last topic of our day today here. This says about the communication and language, that what is the role of a language when you communicate with someone. So successful communication needs a prerequisites to. The language is a system of symbols. Okay, when we see what the language is what is a system of symbols. These symbols are arbitrary and reflect the personality of the individual as well as the culture they represent. Okay, so language plays a vital role in the growth and the transmission of the culture. Okay, continuity of the society and its values. Alright, so it is a message system used for encoding or decoding. Alright, linguistic communication, though not the exclusive form of communication, is fundamental to all human social interactions. Language is a system of symbols or written. It can be in any form. Okay, used by the members of a social community is fairly standardized way to call forth meaning. Language is strikingly distinct attribute of the human person. Okay, we can consider three important functions which language performs, that we will discuss further. But first we need to understand this part over here, right? Okay, what it is actually. Okay, so it says language. First of all, language is a system of symbols. Okay, and it plays a vital role in the growth of and the transmission of your culture, continuity of the society and its value. Now you must be thinking that what it has to do with the culture, continuity of the society and its values. Because see, when you speak, so you reflect who you are, okay, from where you are coming. Like for an example, in India you meet one French person, and that French person doesn't know any another language except French. So when the very moment he will start trying to communicate with you in the French, okay, and then you will come to know, yes, this person is communicating something in French. So that person is reflecting his culture, that person is reflecting his society, that person is reflecting his values. So your language always reflects you, it tells you who you are. Okay, no matter where you go, as you carry your body, in the same way you carry your language. Okay, that is why it has been said that your language has to be polished with time. All right, so further we see here, it is a message system using encoding and decoding, that we have seen that. Linguistic communication, though not an exclusive form of communication. Okay, all this part we have seen already. So we go ahead now, and we consider the three important aspects of the language. Okay, so here we have the three important aspects. The first one, it says that language is a primary vehicle for the communication. Okay, it has been called as a primary vehicle. Means this is something, because the words are very easy to come out, right? Instead of writing and giving your message, okay, someone you are talking to. Supposedly you are having a interpersonal talk with someone, so it is at that time you won't be writing everything and showing it to the other person. Definitely, this is the primary source is your language. All right. Like, take an example, like here I am talking to you guys, right? So this is an example, right? It's a primary vehicle for communication. Here I am not writing everything for you, all right? I am discussing with you this topic verbally. Okay, the next we have a language reflect both. As I said, this reflects the personality of the individual and the culture of his or her society, right? As I told you, it reflects where you are coming from. Okay, in turn it helps the shape both personality and culture. The third point is the language makes possible the growth and transmission of the culture. What it makes possible? The growth and the transmission of the culture with the help of language. Like for an example, if an Indian family, okay, goes abroad and they settle over there, right, in America, in US, so their family must be start speaking in Hindi over there, right, with their own community members or the family member. So if the people in the neighborhood, they come to know about this, they heard their language, so definitely they will also pick up some words over there. All right. So this is a transmission of culture, the continuity of the society, and the effective functioning and the control of social group. All right. So this is all about our today's topic of communication. So guys, today what we have learned about what is communication. We have learned about the definition given by the various scholars and researchers. We have learned about what the communication process is. We have also learned about the type of communication, and finally we have learned about communication, the role of language in communication. All right guys, so take care and have a nice day. Thank you very much.